So what are route groups? Well, if you look here, this home page is going to be a public page. Fair enough. But what about this dashboard? Do we want this dashboard to be public? Not really, right? We don't want it. What's more is that the login page and the sign up page has to be public again. So the thing is, this route group is basically a way that you can, as a developer, know which particular routes are part of which group. For example, there could be some private route groups that includes dashboard. There could be some public ones that includes homepage, testimonials, and all of that. Privacy, terms and condition, all of that can be a public one. There could be a marketing end of the groups. There could be a sales end of the groups. Thing is, all of these groups will be treated as different apps in themselves. So let's start. If I have a new folder, this is how you define the route groups. And I want to define a route group in next app. I will wrap it around the parenthesis and I will just name anything. So let's call it as private. This is a private group and I simply want to move the dashboard here. That's about it. So does that mean that our URL structure will change? Do I have to do /private/dashboard/profile and all of that? No. That is the beauty of route groups. For us developers, we know where what is, but for the end user, everything still works. And all of this can remain in the public folder. We don't have to worry about it, right? You can have different groups if you want, and that's completely okay. We can have, say, a public group if you want, and then if you want, we can simply put all of this like from here to here inside this, like so. Now this will have some sort of like a problem for sure, and I'll show you what the problem is. If you open this private now and we have a dashboard, this has everything. Now if I go to this, it says there's a problem. Why? Because in terms of directory, nothing will actually change. You have to follow the entire directory structure. So you have to say one more time up, right? You have to do that. Now it is working. Cool. Now if I go inside this about this, everything is working. If I go inside the profile, you see this is working. Why? This is the layout that we have for the dashboard and we are inside the dashboard. Okay. Now thing is, this layout does not have the header. This layout does not have the footer. This layout does not have this styling. Nothing here is there. And therefore that means this particular layout is now being considered as a completely different layout. This route group does not have any parent. What happened here is when we launch this page, you see the entire thing load. Let's go here. This entire thing loaded. Let's go here. Entire thing loaded. Basically, both of them are now being considered as two different apps, two different layout groups or two different apps. But we do not want that. Here, what is happening is when I visit to this, say, profile page, it is going here for sure. That's why the profile sidebar is visible. If you look here, profile sidebar. But then it does not find any sort of like a styling and every font, anything. So it searches for the dashboard. It says, okay, here's the dashboard layout. So I am definitely going to get the sidebar. It is getting the sidebar, but it again does not find any sort of like a styling. So it searches for the private and there's nothing inside the private route group as well. It went to the app and there's no such thing as shared layout here as well. So then it says, okay, I will default to dashboard layout, which does not have any sort of like a styling at all. And therefore supply me that, right? And I will just simply render whatever it is. So this is what it is doing. Whereas when I visit to this public page, which is the home page, right? Remember that these are not taken into URL, but they are considered as a directory. So directory structure has to be followed, but the URL will simply not look into it. So when I look into the home page, it says, okay, this is the layout and look at that. I have this. So it is applying all the styles. And because both of these folders do not have a parent layout, which is shared across them, what is happening is both of them are treated as two different apps. That's why even though we are going from using the link component itself, this, and from here we are going using the link component itself to that, it is refreshing the entire thing. And that's the entire case. So how to solve this? Well, one thing is you can simply take this public one, right, which is public. Layout can be shifted back to app. Same can be done with the page. This is a home page. We can do that, right? There's no need to have a new public route things like this, it is not required. It is fine. Now, if I go to, basically I can leave things like here, here, here. I can just move it back to app like this, the public and everything. Inside this layout, I can remove this. Okay. And here I have to remove these. So they were added automatically. I have to remove this. Now inside the public, there's nothing, and that's good. Now, when I go to profile now, everything is working fine because it now found the parent layout. Great. So what about the public? Well, we can do some things. It's not like we have to delete it. What we can do is we can create a folder, say blocks, right? Inside this, we can create a folder named blocks because block is going to be public as well. And then inside this, we can have another page, which is page.tsx, and let's call it blocks like so. Export default blocks. Okay, once we do that, we can go to our page, and rather than this, let's say blocks. Okay, we come back here, we go to this blocks, and we are in the blocks, and this is public. That is private, this is public. Now notice, just because you wrote it as private, just because you wrote it as whatever you wanted to wrote, right? That does not mean anything for the the app itself. This is just for us developers to know what is private, what is public, what is marketing, what is sales, things like that. It has no implication in terms of the app itself. There are some caveats which I just showed you, that they will be treated as different apps if there's no shared parent layout, but that's about it. I don't like this client thing. I just wanted to showcase this entire thing, that this is how we can actually do it. If only the Next.js would have provided the inbuilt mechanism of getting the hashes, then it would have been good. And there's a lot of problem that is happening here. For instance, when I am inside this particular component, I can use this, right? But there's no way that I will be running this particular on-click function in pretty much every time that I click on something. For example, if I am clicking here, first of all, it is refreshing the entire thing, right? That is not a good behavior because that will refresh all the global states or any sort of like states. Second, if I go to this, which is still going to the home page, yet because I'm outside of this, it is not going to go back and forth, right? So we might be able to figure out something else in the future, but for now, in the header, I can just simply remove this client link with link print, and that's about it. We can remove this, so that will never be, fetched. And then we have all of this, and that is good. Everything is now working as it should. We don't have to worry about the active states. It's fine. So that covers the route groups.